Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to start with the histology of the female genital tract. And you can see that the female reproductive system consists of a pair of primary sex glands, which are the ovaries, and there is a system of ducts, which are the uterine tubes, the uterus, and the vagina, and their external genitalia. If we talk about the internal genitalia, there is a paired ovary, there are pairs of oviducts, and there is uterus and the vagina. This is the ovary, these are the oviducts, and this is the uterus and the vagina. And if we talk about the labia majora, labia minora, and the clitoris, they are included in the external genitalia. This is the microscopic picture of the ovary. You can see there is a central deeper zone, the medulla, and there is an outer broader zone which is known as the cortex. The surface of the ovary is covered by a simple cuboidal epithelium. This epithelium is known as the germinal epithelium. Like the testes, the ovaries also possess both exocrine and endocrine functions. So this is a mixed type of gland. The exocrine function of the ovaries is to produce the female gametes, that is the ova, while the endocrine function is the secretion of female sex hormones, the estrogen and progesterone. The surface of the ovary is covered by a simple cuboidal epithelium. This epithelium is known as the germinal epithelium, because in earlier days it was believed that this layer was the source of fresh germ cells. This is the microscopic picture of the ovary. You can see there is a central deeper zone, the medulla, and there is an outer broader zone which is known as the cortex. Again, just like the testes, we have got a very thick layer of collagen fibers which is white in color, and it is called the tunica albuginea. The stromal cells contribute to the formation of the connective tissue covering around the growing follicle. So we will see in the cortex of the ovary there are follicles in different stages of development. Ovarian follicle is a spherical structure containing an immature ovum. These are different stages of the ovarian follicle. It starts from the primordial follicle, then the stages of unilaminar primary follicle, then there is a multilaminar primary follicle which is also called the preantral, then there is an antral follicle which is also known as the secondary follicle because a cavity appears inside, and then the last stage is of the mature graphene follicle which is the tertiary follicle. So ovarian follicle is a spherical structure containing an immature ovum, that is the oocyte, and this is surrounded by a number of epithelial cells. A connective tissue covering may also be present. So generally there are three varieties of ovarian follicles representing different stages of follicular development. These varieties are the primordial follicles, the growing follicles, and the mature follicles. The ovaries of a female child contain only the primordial follicles. So the other development starts at the time of puberty. As the onset of puberty, the ovarian follicles begin to grow under the influence of the gonadotrophic hormones, which are secreted by the adenohypophysis, that is the pituitary. During each menstrual cycle, a number of primordial follicles in both ovaries, they start undergoing progressive development. Now these follicles are known as the growing follicles. Normally only one growing follicle becomes fully mature and ovulates approximately in the mid of each menstrual cycle. Generally there are three varieties of ovarian follicles representing different stages of follicular development during the menstrual cycle, and they may be seen in the section of an adult ovary. So we will see different types of stages of the follicles in the cortex of the ovary, and these are the primordial follicles, the growing follicles, and there is a mature that is Graafian follicle. The ovaries of a female child contain only the primordial follicles. As the onset of puberty, the ovarian follicles begin to grow under the influence of gonadotrophic hormones, which are secreted by the pituitary gland. During each menstrual cycle, a number of primordial follicles in both ovaries undergo progressive development. Now these follicles are referred to as the growing follicles. Normally only one growing follicle becomes fully mature and ovulates approximately in the mid of each menstrual cycle, that is at the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. All other growing follicles undergo a degenerative process, and that is called atresia. And the remains of the ovulated follicles are converted into the corpus luteum. So the cortex of an adult ovary contains the growing ovarian follicles and their end products, that is corpora lutea, atretic follicles, and corpora albicans. Structural features of various types of the ovarian follicles, the change in the oocyte and the follicular cells surrounding. As regards the primordial follicle, this follicle consists of an immature ovum, which is actually a primary oocyte, and it is arrested in the prophase stage of the first meiotic division. Oocyte is surrounded by a single layer of flattened epithelial cells, which are called follicular cells. So this is the primordial follicle. You can see the oocyte, which is surrounded by the flat follicular cells. And this ovum measures about 30 microns in diameter and has a large eccentrically situated vesicular nucleus with a very prominent nucleolus. If we talk about the growing follicles, the first stage is the unilaminar primary follicle. You can see the oocyte, which is surrounded by a single layer of cuboidal follicular cells. In the growing follicles, three stages. During the ovarian cycle, there are changes in the ovary as well as there are changes in the uterus also. And follicular phase of the ovarian cycle it gives rise to the development of the primordial follicle into the mature follicle, and also at the same time there is the follicular phase of the endometrium. In the ovulatory phase, there is a release of oocyte from the mature follicle and it is captured by the oviducts. Then comes the luteal phase, in which the residual follicular cell folds, they become part of the corpus luteum. The secretion or the luteal phase of the endometrium at the same time in the. What is the primordial follicle? Primordial follicles are present in the ovaries of the female child, and primordial follicle is actually the primary oocyte arrested in prophase stage of the meiosis 1. It is 25 microns in diameter and it is surrounded by the follicular cells, a single layer of flattened squamous cells which are attached by desmosomes with each other. And this primordial follicle, then it starts growing at the time of puberty. The small groups of primordial follicles, they are stimulated by FSH and begins the follicular growth, and they then develop into the primary follicle and the secondary follicle and ultimately into the Graafian follicle. And all this is under the influence of the pituitary. And then what is the follicular growth? The primary follicle is actually, this is the primary oocyte. Its growth is then to 125 to 150 microns in diameter. The follicular cells become cuboidal and there are one to many layers of the cells. There is a zona pellucida which separates the oocyte from the follicular cells. And the stromal cells, they gives rise to the theca interna and theca externa. Then what is the secondary follicle? In the secondary follicle, you will see that there is a primary oocyte which is 125 to 150 microns in diameter now, and the follicular cells which are surrounding the oocyte, they become cuboidal, and there are many layers of these cells, and there develops Leica folliculi. There are the presence of the cavities in the cells, and these cavities then coalesce, unite together, gives rise to a big cavity called the antrum. That's the reason we call it the preantral follicles, and then becomes next is the antral follicle or the secondary follicle. Now what is the Graafian follicle? That is the mature follicle. There is a primary oocyte, and the follicular cells continue the growth, and they become 2.5 centimeter in diameter, and continues the formation of the Leica folliculi. Oocyte is floating in the Leica folliculi. During each menstrual cycle, only one follicle growth becomes dominant, and others they become atretic. They are known as the corpus albicans. There are three phases of the ovarian cycle. One is the follicular phase, in which the development of the primordial follicle into the mature follicle takes place. Then comes the ovulatory phase, which is at the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. There is release of oocyte from the mature follicle, and it is captured by the oviducts. Then comes the luteal phase. The residual follicular cells folds and becomes part of the corpus luteum if pregnancy occurs. What is the ovulation phase? The day 14 of the menstrual cycle, under the influence of the surge of the luteinizing hormone from the pituitary, there is rupture of the wall of the Graafian follicle. This is the Graafian follicle, which is a big follicle, and it then makes a bulge over the ovary, and it ruptures to gives rise to the ovum. This is the release. Rupture of the wall of the Graafian follicle occurs under the influence of the prostaglandins. There is release of histamine, there is release of collagenases and hyaluronic acid, and then there is complete first meiotic division, and the release of the secondary oocyte, which is arrested in the metaphase of the meiosis II with corona radiata surrounding. And then these are the fimbriated end of the oviduct. It receives the oocyte. Fertilization usually in the oviduct, male and female pronuclei, they unite together to give rise to the zygote. Let me show you the histology of the ovary. This is the cross section of the ovary, and you can see it is surrounded by the germinal epithelium. This is a single layer of cuboidal cells, and this is the germinal epithelium. Then just beneath the germinal epithelium, there is a thick layer of connective tissue. This is dense connective tissue, which consists of a lot of collagen fibers. It is white in color, and it is called the tunica albuginea. Then we have got the cortex. Just beneath the tunica albuginea is the cortex stroma that houses ovarian follicles in various stages of development. So in an ovary, you can see these are the follicles which are surrounding the medulla. This inner or the middle portion is the medulla, which consists of the loose areolar connective tissue containing a vascular bed. It is very vascular. There are a lot of blood vessels and nerves present in the center of the ovary, and this portion is called the medulla of the ovary. And in the cortex, you can see in the stromal cells, there are follicles in the different stages of development, starting from the primordial follicle. Then there are secondary these are the follicles. These are the primordial follicles. Then these primordial follicles, they becomes the growing follicles. During the ovarian cycle, there are changes in the ovary, as well as there are changes in the uterus also. And follicular phase of the ovarian cycle it gives rise to the development of the primordial follicle into the mature follicle, and also at the same time there is the follicular phase of the endometrium. In the ovulatory phase, there is a release of oocyte from the mature follicle and it is captured by the oviducts. Then comes the luteal phase, in which the residual follicular cell folds. They become part of the corpus luteum. What is the corpus luteum? That is the luteal phase. It happens so that after the ovulation, the remainder of the Graafian follicle collapses and it is folded. Blood flows into the follicular cavity because of the rupture of the cells. There is a clot formation, and this clot is invaded by the connective tissue and phagocytes. And the central part of the corpus luteum, the granulosa cells becomes the granulosa lutein cells, and the theca interna cells becomes the theca lutein cells. And corpus luteum produces estrogen and progesterone, and it remains for the next 6 months of the pregnancy. What is the fate of the corpus luteum? It depends on whether the pregnancy is established or not. If the pregnancy does not occur, the corpus luteum degenerates and it gives rise to the corpus albicans, which is actually the dead body of the follicle. If pregnancy occurs, then under the influence of the human chorionic gonadotrophic hormones, the corpus luteum is maintained for the 6 months, and corpus luteum of pregnancy it is called. And this corpus luteum of pregnancy, it secretes certain hormones which maintain the pregnancy, and they also bring the changes in the uterus, in the endometrium. So this is the whole cycle. You can see the primordial follicle is dividing and giving rise to the primary follicle. Primary follicles, they then give rise to the secondary follicles, which have got the fluid filled vesicles, and there is a theca interna and theca externa, and then there is the mature Graafian follicle, which is actually the there is a oocyte which is surrounded by the zona pellucida, and it is attached with the wall of the follicle with a heap of cells called the cumulus oophorus, and there is a cavity inside, a big cavity which has got the lichar folliculi, and then we have got around the follicle the stromal cells. They becomes the theca interna and theca externa. And when under the influence of the luteinizing hormone there is rupture of the Graafian follicle, the ovum is released, and then the granulosa cells being converted to the corpus luteum cells, and this is the corpus luteum. If pregnancy occurs, the corpus luteum remains as such, and it will become the corpus luteum gravidarum. Otherwise, there is formation of a tritic follicle which is called the corpus albicans. Primordial follicles are present in the female child, and these primordial follicles are nothing but these are the primary oocytes, which are 25 microns in diameter with a pale staining large nucleus, which is arrested in the prophase of the first meiotic division. It is surrounded by a single layer of follicular cells which are resting over the basement membrane. As regards the primary follicle, these are the growing follicles, and they include the unilaminar primary follicle and a multilaminar primary follicle. Primary follicles are of two types. As follicles started growth, three things change. The oocyte changes, the follicular cells are changed, and the surrounding stroma. So primary follicle. The formation of primary follicle is marked by the growth of oocyte. Its size increases and it will become from 25 to 30 microns to 50 and then 80 microns. The flattened follicular cells start mitosis and become cuboidal, and then single layer of columnar cells forming unilaminar primary follicle. These are the unilaminar primary follicles. Further proliferation of follicular cells forming multilaminar primary follicle, they gives rise to the stratum granulosum. With growth of the oocyte, it started secreting zona pellucida, a gel-like material which is rich in glycoproteins and glycosaminoglycans. Growing follicle. With further growth, surrounding connective tissue, the stromal cells specialized, forming a sheath which is known as the theca folliculi. Fibroblasts outside the growing follicles have developed as a steroid secreting theca interna and a covering theca externa, where some stromal cells become smooth muscle cells. Then comes the antral follicle. An antral follicle with large fluid-filled antral cavity, or there are vesicles forming within the granulosa layer by the follicular cells. The oocyte is surrounded by the zona pellucida and granulosa cells. So this is the oocyte, this is surrounded by the zona pellucida cells, this is the antrum or the cavity. So because of this we call it the antral follicle. The antral follicle, in the antral follicle, the granulosa cells also line the wall of the follicle. Granulosa cells make up the corona radiata, and the corona radiata and oocyte are attached to the side of the follicle within a larger mass of granulosa cells called the cumulus oophorus. This is the cumulus oophorus, and these are the corona radiata. Then what about the tertiary follicle or the graphene follicle or the mature follicle? When size of the growing follicle reaches 10 millimeter, it is called the graphene follicle. Oocyte development takes place, formation of cortical granules, formation of microvilli, follicular development. A bulge on the surface of the ovary develops. After ovulation, the ruptured follicle does not degenerate at once, but it is transformed into a glandular structure, and this is called corpus luteum, that is the yellow body. When the follicular fluid is released under pressure, the follicle collapses and its wall is thrown into deep folds. These are the deep folds. Bleeding from the capillaries of the theca interna into the follicular lumen usually leads to the formation of a central clot. As I have said initially, the granulosa cells of the follicle soon become transformed into large pale staining cells containing the vesicular nuclei. These cells are known as the granulosa lutein cells. Cytoplasm of these cells contains a large number of lipid droplets which are dissolved out during this physiological procedure and in routine sections. So the cytoplasm gives a vacuolated appearance. The granulosa lutein cells exhibit structural features of the steroid producing cells. So there will be an abundant smooth endoplasmic reticulum, there will be the mitochondria with tubular cristae. Their cytoplasm also contains the yellowish lutein pigment. This pigment is responsible for the characteristic yellow color of the corpus luteum. The theca interna cells, which are already steroid synthesizing in nature, enlarge to some extent and are now known as the theca lutein cells. And their cytoplasm also contains fat droplets, mitochondria with tubular cristae, there is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and there is lipochrome pigment. If after the ovulation, that is at the 14th day of the menstrual cycle, the ovum is not fertilized, the corpus luteum attains its greatest development about 9 days after ovulation, and then it begins to degenerate. And if fertilization takes place, the corpus luteum increases in size and persists for about 6 months and then gradually declines over the remaining period of pregnancy. Degeneration of the corpus luteum following the menstruation or pregnancy results in autolysis of the lutein cells and an increase in connective tissue. Finally, the whole mass is transformed into a whitish scar, which is called the corpus albicans. The corpus luteum produces female steroid hormones, progesterone and estrogens. The corpus luteum of pregnancy also secretes a polypeptide hormone called relaxin, which facilitates the delivery in two ways. Number one, it causes the loosening of the pubic symphysis and other pelvic joints. And number two, it produces dilatation of the uterine cervix during the labor.